Hello guys, how are you all? Welcome to my channel, Cracking IELTS 9.0. Today I'll be discussing Cambridge 14 Test 4 Reading Passage 2 of the Academic Reading module. The heading says, Why Zoos Are Good. So first of all, we have match the information questions. And then we have true, false or not given. And then we have multiple choice questions with more than one answer right. So let's read the paragraphs one by one and let's try to match it with the given questions. Okay, so first of all, we'll start with the A passage. In my view, it is perfectly possible for many species of animals living in zoos or wildlife parks to have a quality of life as high as or higher than in the wild. Animals in good zoos get a varied and high quality diet with all the supplements required, and any illnesses they might have will be treated. Okay, their movement might be somewhat restricted, but they have a safe environment in which to live and are spared bullying and social ostracism by others of their kind. They do not suffer from the threat or stress of predators or the irritation and pain of parasites or injuries. The average captive animal will have a greater life expectancy compared with its wild counterpart and will not die of drought, of starvation, or in the jaws of a predator. A lot of very nasty things happen to truly wild animals that simply don't happen in good zoos, and to live a life that is free as one that is automatically good, I think an error. Furthermore, zoos serve several key purposes. Okay, great. Let's look at the options now and try to match with paragraph A. A reference to how quickly animal species can die out. No, we didn't read anything about animals dying out quickly, right? Reasons why it is preferable to study animals in captivity rather than in the wild. No, we didn't read any reasons why study animals in captivity rather than in the wild. Next, mention of two ways of learning about animals other than visiting them in zoos. No, we didn't read about any ways of learning about animals, right? Next, reasons why animals in zoos may be healthier than those in the wild. Oh wow, I'm interested in this one now. So, what are the reasons why animals in zoos are healthier than in the wild? Okay, this one is the answer. Look at this sentence, guys. Animals in good zoos get a varied and high quality diet with all the supplements required, and any illnesses they may have will be treated. So obviously animals in zoos, they can stay healthier than in the wild, right? And also their movement may be restricted, but they have a safe environment, right? Because there will be no bullying, okay, no social ostracism, okay, no predators, no irritation and pain of the parasites or injuries. So all these things are not there in the zoo, they are only in the wild. So animals can stay healthy in zoos when compared to the wild. So clearly 17th one is matching with option A, right? So A is the answer for 17, right? Let's read. Firstly, zoos aid conservation. Colossal numbers of species are becoming extinct across the world. Colossal means a huge number, very huge number, okay? And many more are increasingly threatened and therefore a risk extinction, okay? Moreover, some of these collapses have been sudden, dramatic, and unexpected, or were simply discovered very late in the day, okay? A species protected in captivity can be bred up to provide a reservoir population against a population crash or extinction in the wild. A good number of species only exist in captivity, with many of these living in the zoos. Still more only exist in the wild because they have been reintroduced from zoos or have wild populations that have been boosted by captive bred animals. Without these efforts, there would be fewer species alive today. Although reintroduction successes are few and far between, the numbers are increasing. And the very fact that species have been saved or reintroduced as a result of captive breeding proves the value of such initiatives. Okay, great. A reference to how quickly animal species can die out. Oh, okay. So we are bang on the target, guys. How quickly animal species can die out. Yes, we have read about something where animals may die out, right? Where is that? Right. Look at this sentence, guys. Second sentence. Moreover, some of these collapses have been sudden. Sudden means quickly, dramatic, and unexpected, or were simply discovered very late in the day. What are these collapses? Dying out, right? See, zoo said conservation. Colossal number of species are becoming extinct across the world. Means they are dying out. Extinct means they are dying out, and many more are increasingly threatened and therefore risk extinction. Okay, great. So these collapses means these die out have been sudden, dramatic, and unexpected. Okay, or was simply discovered very late in the day. Okay, great, guys. So this one is talking about how quickly animal species can die out because they are very sudden, dramatic, and unexpected. So 14th one is clearly matching with the passage B, right? So it is B. So zoos also provide education. Many children and adults, especially those in the cities, will never see a wild animal beyond a fox or a pigeon. While it is true that television documentaries are becoming ever more detailed and impressive, and many national history specimens are on display in museums, there really is nothing to compare with seeing a living creature in the flesh, hearing it, smelling it, watching what it does, and having the time to absorb the details. That alone will bring a greater understanding and perspective to many and hopefully give them a greater appreciation for wildlife conservation efforts and how they can contribute. Okay, great. So, next, 15th one. Reasons why it is preferable to study animals in captivity rather than in the wild. So we didn't read about any reasons, okay, of studying animals in captivity. No. Next, mention of two ways of learning about animals other than visiting them in zoos. Oh, great. So mention of two ways. Yes, we have read about two ways of learning about animals other than visiting in zoos. What are those two ways? I'll tell you. Read this sentence, guys. This one. While it is true that television documentaries are becoming ever more detailed and impressive, many natural history specimens are on display in the museums. Okay, these are the two reasons. Television documentaries and national history specimens in the museum. So these are providing more information other than visiting the zoo. There is nothing to compare with seeing a living creature in the flesh, hearing it, smelling it. Okay, this is altogether different, but here he mentions about the two ways of learning about animals. What are they? Television documentaries and the specimens in the museum. Right? One is clearly matching with C. So 16 is C paragraph. Okay? Right. Let's move to the next para. In addition to this, there is also the education that can take place in zoos through science talks and presentations which directly communicate information to visitors about the animals they are seeing and their place in the world. Right. This was an area where zoos used to be lacking, but they are now increasingly sophisticated in their communication and outreach work. Many zoos also work directly to educate conservation workers in their countries or send their animal keepers abroad to contribute their education and skills to those working in zoos and reserves, thereby helping to improve conditions and reintroductions all over the world. Okay. We are left with only one option, right? That is the 15th one. Reasons why it is preferable to study animals in captivity rather than in the wild. No, we didn't read about any reasons, right? So in either in captivity and in the wild, no, we didn't read anything related to this. Right, let's move to the next paragraph, E now. Zoos also play a key role in research. If we are to save wild species and restore and repair ecosystems, we need to know about how key species live, act, and react. Being able to undertake research on animals in zoos where there is less risk and fewer variables means real challenges can be affected on wild populations. Finding out about, for example, the ostrich cycle of an animal or its breeding rate helps us manage the wild population. Procedures such as capturing and moving at risk or dangerous individuals are bolstered by knowledge gained in zoos about doses for anesthetics and by experience in handling and transporting animals. This can make a real difference in conservation efforts and to the reduction of human animal conflicts and can provide a knowledge base for helping with the increasing threats of habitat destruction and other problems. So 15th one, is it matching with E? Reasons why it is preferable to study animals in captivity rather than the wild? Yes. 15th one is clearly matching with E. I'll tell you how. In this para, what is he talking about? Zoos also play a key role in research. So he's talking about research. Research means studying of animals, right? If we are to save wild species and restore and repair the ecosystems, we need to know about how key species live, act, and react. Okay, guys? Next, here, concentrate on this sentence. Being able to undertake a research on animals in zoos where there is less risk and fewer variable means real changes can be effected on the wild populations. Oh, great. So, when we do research on animals in zoos, there is less risk and fewer variables. So this is why it is better to study animals in zoos than in the wild. So these are the two reasons, less risk and fewer variables. That's it. So 15th one is clearly E, guys. Okay. I hope it is clear. The next set of questions is true, false, not given. So the 18th one is an animal is likely to live longer in a zoo than in the wild. Oh. So the answer is in the paragraph A, guys. So animals in good zoos, they get a varied and high quality diet, one reason. Okay, and even if they have any illnesses, they get treated, second reason. And they are in a safe environment, like they are spared from bullying and social ostracism, third reason. And they do not have the stress of predators and irritation pain of the parasites, fourth reason. So all these reasons they say that animal is, so the average captive animal will have a greater life expectancy compared with its wild counterpart. So this is the final answer we have. Okay. So average captive animal have a greater life expectancy. See, life expectancy is greater in captive means zoos than in the wild. So this is our answer. An animal is likely to live longer in a zoo than in the wild? Yes, of course. Because of the above reasons discussed, it is true. Next, there are some species in zoos which can no longer be found in the wild. Okay, so there are some species in the zoos which can no longer be found in the wild. Okay, in wild they are not present, but in zoos they are present, some species. So in the B paragraph, look at this sentence, guys. A good number of species only exist in captivity. Oh, great. With many of these living in zoos. So some species, they are only in captivity, means only in zoos. With many of these living in zoos, it means they are only in zoos, they are not in the wild. Okay. Still more only exist in the world because they have been reintroduced from the zoos or have wild populations that have been boosted by the captive bred animals. Oh, great. So this sentence means that some species, they are only in the captivity, means only in the zoos but not in the wild. 18th one, what do you think is the answer? It is true, right? Next one. Improvements in the quality of TV wildlife documentaries have resulted in increased number of zoo visitors. Okay, so he's talking about the TV documentaries and increased number of zoo visitors. So we have read about documentaries in the C paragraph, right? While it is true that television documentaries are becoming ever more detailed and impressive, and many natural history specimens are on display in museums, there really is nothing to compare with seeing a living creature in the flesh, hearing it, smelling it, watching what it does, and having the time to absorb details. So, is there anything mentioned like the number of zoo visitors has increased in this passage? No, we didn't read anything about that. There is nothing mentioned about the visitors of the zoo, right? Especially by looking at the TV documentaries, will the number of visitors be increased? No, nothing is mentioned here. So the answer for 20th one is not given, right? Okay. Zoos have always excelled at transmitting information about animals to the public. So, zoos have always excelled at transmitting information about animals to the public. Okay, they are. It says they have always excelled. Okay, let's. In addition to this, there is also the education that can take place in zoos through science talks and presentations, which directly communicate information to visitors about the animals they are seeing and their place in this world. This was an area where zoos used to be lacking. Okay, they used to be lacking, but they are now increasingly sophisticated in their communication and outreach. Wow. So the answer is in this sentence. Okay. The question says zoos have always excelled in transmitting information, right? Is it true? Did they always excel? See, this was an area where zoos used to be lacking. So, transmitting information they used to lack in the past, but now they have increasingly become sophisticated in their communication and outreach. Oh, great. So, they have not excelled always. Okay, they were lacking in the past and now they have excelled. So, what is the answer? So, they have lacked in the past. Okay, only now they are excelling. So, they have always excelled? No, they have not excelled always, guys. So 21 should be false. Okay. So 21 is false clearly. Right, next one. Studying animals in zoos is less stressful for the animals than studying them in the wild. Talking about studying the animals in zoos, okay, is less stressful for the animals than studying them in the wild. So we have read about studying the animals in the E paragraph, right? Research. So in this paragraph, is it mentioned anywhere that it is less stressful for the animals? No, not at all. I have read the paragraph many times in this video and personally also I have read, but I didn't find any kind of word that says it is less stressful for the animals than studying them in the wild. So what is the answer, guys? So 22 should be not given clearly. Okay. Which two of the following are stated about zoo staff in the text? So now he concentrating on the zoo staff in the text. Okay. So what is mentioned about the zoo staff? Some take part in television documentaries about animals? No. They don't take part in the television documentaries. Some travel to overseas locations to join teams in zoos. Ah, yes, I think I have read something about this one. B, right? They send their animal keepers abroad to contribute their knowledge and skills to those working in zoos and reserves. Oh, great. So, they are going abroad means traveling overseas locations to join the teams. Means those who are working in the zoos, joining the team in the zoos. So clearly B is one answer, right? Okay, next. Some get experience with species in the wild before taking up jobs. No. We didn't read anything about people getting experience before in the wild, okay, before taking the jobs. Next, some teach people who are involved with conservation projects. Oh, we have read something about this conservation, right? See, again the same paragraph. Many zoos also work directly to educate conservation workers in their countries. This one, and send their animal keepers, is what we read before. So, many zoos also work directly to educate conservation workers in other countries. Teach people who are involved with conservation projects. Yes, D should be one more answer. Yes, clearly. Some specialize in caring for species which are under threat. No, there is nothing given in the passage about this, right? So the last question, guys. Which two of the beliefs about zoos does the writer mention in the text? So he is talking about the beliefs about zoos, okay? Next, they can help children overcome their fears of wild animals. No, we didn't read anything about children overcoming their fears, right? So A is gone. Next, they can increase public awareness of environmental issues. Oh, last F paragraph, guys. In conclusion, considering the many ongoing global threats to the environment, it is hard for me to see zoos as anything other than essential to the long-term survival of numerous species. They are vital not just in terms of protecting animals, but as a means of learning about them to aid those still in the wild, as well as educating and informing the general population about these animals and their world so that they can assist or at least accept the need to be more environmentally cautious. Okay, without them, the world would be and would increasingly become a much poorer place. So look at this sentence, guys. Okay, as well as educating and informing the general public means what does it mean? Public awareness, right? Educating and informing the general population means public awareness of the environmental issues, but these animals and their world so that they can assist and at least accept the need to be more environmentally cautious. So, public awareness about the environmental issues. So clearly B is one answer, right? Next, they can provide employment for a range of professional people. No, we didn't read anything about employment. They can generate income to support wildlife conservation projects. No, we didn't read anything about income generating to support the wildlife conservation projects, right? So E is remaining. They can raise animals which can later be released into the wild. Oh yes, we have read something about this. Okay, they are vital not just in terms of protecting animals, but as a means of learning about them to aid those still in the wild. Means we can protect the animals, means they can raise the animals and they can leave them into the wild later. That's what he means here. Okay. So E is clearly one more answer. So that is the end of today's video, guys. I hope this video was quite helpful for all of you. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe my video. These videos are extremely helpful for IELTS aspirants. If you can follow my tips and tricks, I am sure that you can score more than 8 bands in the IELTS reading module. So until next time, goodbye. Have a great day.